So, just like grain of old. Thank you so much for waiting. Oh, okay, so I'm here, I'm accounted for. Now I can attend to my Amenten a little bit more. And you want to know the reason why? Is because I just want to make a huge announcement and make it really, really clear. I finished filming my video on Saturn in Pisces today. I was going to do it Saturday, but I felt like doing it and I wanted to do it. And that's the thing with Saturn. I mean, I've kind of been putting this off a little bit, but I felt the motivation to do it, and so I did it. Now, I did another video. I did 2 videos over one day. 1 day worth of astrology in 1 day. So the full moon in Virgo is on the 7th. Saturn in Pisces is on, going on. I mean, wow. And the video ended up being an hour and a couple minutes long. It's like, isn't that crazy? Oh my goodness. If I was little, I would be looking at myself going, wow, I want to be that person. I know that I would look at myself and feel envious and feel, and so there's certain things I wasn't exposed to when I was little. Certain things like videos on the computer, certain things like Screencastify, certain things like those things I wasn't exposed to when I was little, and if I was, I would be even more kind of creative, and there's certain things I could do when I was little that I would enjoy then that I don't enjoy now, and vice versa. For example, I'm in a phase of making videos where I think that being real and being authentic is probably the most important thing, not trying to be somebody or not. So I do want to make that announcement. The full moon in Virgo video is public right now. It's up there. But the Saturn and Pisces video will premiere on Saturday, March 4th. So if you want to watch that when it premieres, you can, but you don't have to do it on that day. And so what I'm actually going to do is, I think I'm actually going to have a show, have a sort of put on event here at the Amenten where I show my videos. I show my videos and I make events for it. So I'm really thinking about it because there's going to be a meeting on March 4th, an Amenten meeting that I have planned, and I'll make a whole schedule out of the Amenten meetings because I have certain Amenten meetings that I scheduled for months, weeks, and even years. So I'm really thinking about, because I've already sort of got through all that information that I went through, but I'm thinking about putting on some kind of event, which is going to be, I'm thinking of this, March, I think Sunday, March 5, I'm planning to have a kind of theater event where I show this video and people can come and watch it through that sort of theater concept. I've never thought about this before. I've really never considered doing this ever. I've never shown my own YouTube video out in a type of event like a theater kind of performance where you go and sit and then watch the video. But I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to do it, and I'm going to make a plan that Sunday, March 5th at, I want to say about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, people can come to my Amenten, to the theater, and they can sit and watch the video. There'll be drinks, there'll be popcorn and stuff, and all those kind of things for people to have and enjoy whilst they watch the video or the movie, because this is huge. I mean, this speaks to so much stuff that I could talk to all of you about. This is like if I were to talk to all of you about Saturn and Pisces, but it's out there. I mean, I am not going to stand here and put together all the information that I did and then not put it out there. So I may have notes and I may talk to you about those kind of themes on the March 7th Amenten meeting. Huge meeting. Huge meeting. I see if I want to plan for what I'm going to do for that meeting, but I think I am going to take you through some things so that we're aware of the shift going on. And then the full moon, obviously. Now, here's the deal. Because it is a full moon, the Amenten will not be running on that Tuesday. Unfortunately, I will be at DMAC and I will be at classes. Fortunately, unfortunately, and I combine those. Now, if I were going to the compulsory schooling, that would be grade school, it would just be unfortunate. But it's both, and so that's what I want to say. So, because it is a full moon, the Amenten will not be operational. But there will be one thing happening. And it will be at the same time tonight, a week from now, where all of you will be here. And I will be going through some things. Actually, maybe I'll have more people come from other Amentens, because I find this really significant. Now, March 23rd is going to be huge too. That may be something else, although there's some, unfortunately, I didn't say that when Pluto would be moving to Aquarius. Unfortunately, I said other dates. Maybe I will go ahead and change that and then re-upload the video or something. Just because I want to be like other astrologers or produce another video about that, about Pluto. because it'll be for 20 years. This is just for 2.5 years. That's going to be for 20 years. And in a way, there's less things going on because of that long period. So that video that I made was about half an hour. This one, it was longer, interestingly enough. But there are going to be customs that will be important to consider and to understand and to keep in mind with this change that I've been thinking about. I did a meeting on February, I think it was February 15, where I spoke to you about some of these things. And tonight, I'm thinking about reiterating some stuff. Reiterating things. I'm just coming up with this on the fly. I didn't really have any plan for this meeting. But I am thinking about this because today I did film that video. So that information is really fresh in my mind. It actually always is, but that video is official. Makes it official. I can sum it up and I can talk about it. Especially now since I just did, with big transitions such as that, with major changes such as Saturn changing signs, I like to have notes. When I'm talking about full moons, does come around every year, and so I don't like to have notes, or maybe I'll plan upon having the just yearly transits, like the sun in this sign or the moon in this sign, or Venus, Mercury and Mars, the personal planets. Those may be just what I know. The other stuff is research based. So, yeah. With the video, I did not get into any big aspects going on. I didn't do that for this video. It's just Saturn and Pisces and the themes and what it's all about, basically. Now, with this, I'm going to have people sort of come to this meeting a week from now. And I'm going to get into some stuff, hopefully without abusing content or mistreating it. Maybe I will play some music from Lord of the Rings, or maybe I'll play clips from that movie, or Harry Potter clips or something like that, because I think of those things when it comes to this for a time. It's more thinking of that. And that's happening March 7th, where I'm going to be talking about the Amenten meeting. In that meeting, I'll be discussing some plans that I have, which I sort of have to write out and get prepared. I'll talk about what it means to sort of reiterate the information I spoke about, tying it into what's going on with yoga. That's going to be huge, because I want to separate, because I may say something that I'm like, that sounds so good, and I didn't put it out there. Like, wow, that's so disappointing. So I really want to be careful that I draw the boundary, so that this is separate from YouTube stuff. I just want to say that. I will be getting into that, what it means and what it means for yoga. That's one of the plans I have for that meeting. I'll play some Lord of the Rings clips, Harry Potter, that'll also be happening. And then I'll get into a couple plans that may occur, and I have to work on trying to figure out what we're going to do. And it's likely that certain times out of the year we may look to Saturn in Pisces, and other times we may not, because there's other stuff going on with the Amentens, new guests, new customs. You know, the customs that we'll be exploring now are going to be very different than this summer. Now, the summertime, the big event when Venus stations retrograde, there may be an Amenten meeting at that time. But given the choice between of having a dinner with my family and going out and having an Amenten meeting, it is definitely option A. So, there may not be that Amenten meeting, but on the Fridays we'll do activities for that, and so those customs will be going on, which include the closer custom. We'll be looking at so many different types. We'll be exploring at that time Thomas and Friends and Magic Railroad, Kelly Verrazano video archives, unless she comes back to YouTube. Yeah, and you know maybe she will. Yeah. So, but if she doesn't, we'll be looking at archives of her videos. So, that's going on. That may go on, and I'm going to have her plan to come to the Amenten during the Venus retrograde season and come back and forth, back and forth. Come and then go, and come and go. Because I really see her playing this kind of role with this Venus retrograde season. So that's what I'm thinking of that. But it's a long ways away, and those customs are different, very different. In fact, those are older customs. Those sort of harken back to me earlier in life. I think these customs are newer ones with the Saturn and Pisces. And I think this time of year, especially this time of year, and I'm thinking about December, thinking about especially the months, December and March. I do think that those months, probably October as well, so October, December, and March are probably going to be the months where I'm going to put the most focus on Saturn and Pisces, so we can do things along with Saturn and Pisces during the transit from March 7th this year all the way through February 12, 2026. So that's huge. I may also talk about what will happen on March 8th. March 8th is when you're going to be going somewhere. Standing outside of a building in West Des Moines. And I will be going with you and doing this with you because it is the 8th of March and it is a Wednesday. So the day after it enters Pisces. They'll be standing outside. We'll be all standing outside. And we will be honoring that. honoring this transit by standing outside this really tall building, this white building. Because this is what I see in the parking lot of that building, as a sort of customary screenshot of this transit. Now, I may bring my notes along and talk about some stuff there and tie it in. Who knows? If we can, we may go into the building, but it's not likely. It's not likely that we'll go in the building, but we may just stand outside and I'll be going with you. This will be at 11, I want to say we should get there. So that means that I could say 10 o'clock, 9:45 we may take off and then go there for, I would say, a good maybe half an hour. 30 to 35 minutes or 40 minutes. We'll be there. And you'll be standing, feeling your feelings, and standing outside of that building. We'll also be going on a walk. I have a variety of plans for that particular day. So I not only want to do that, but later on next Wednesday, I want to go on a walk because Pisces is the immune system, and when we walk and when we exercise, we can help that. So we're going to be going on a walk later that day. Just sort of, it'll be kind of a nature walk. So we'll sort of come back here, have lunch, and then I would say 1:30, or no, probably 2 will leave, go to Gray's Lake, Easter Lake actually, and walk. I've said what I've said. Actually, maybe I'll push that a little bit. I'll push it. I'll push that till March 10th, Friday, March 10th. We'll do that walk around the Easter Lake. So what you're doing, your project for Pisces season, is, as you know, developing or practicing a spiritual practice and then writing a reflection on it and how it helped you and impacted you and so forth. Now all of you, I think by this point, should have gotten your Aquarius assignment done. If you haven't, you have only hours left to get it done. So, yeah. So, I'm gonna see what I can do to take advantage of this transit and sort of things I see with this. There may also be a time where we may go in a counseling building. We may actually use that building because I associate it with this transit, and we may use it. Actually, we may end up using it for that particular day for a certain amount of time, March 8th, because it's very significant to me. And I say intensive time, so we'll be going in there. And whether or not you want to say anything, or whether you have anything on your mind, it may be the time where you can express that and talk about it with the therapists and counselors that will be there. I'm thinking of doing this. And I say intensive time. So that's one of the plans that I have. And then kind of another plan that I'm thinking of is really honestly having Malika Semper, the astrologer, come back to the Amenten. Maybe around, well, actually it'll have to be, I'll have her come back a little bit later. Probably as we get into April, I may have her come to the Amenten. I already have called up Darren Reed. Plan to come to the Amenten on March 4th. She will be arriving, bringing her oracle deck, and I'll be discussing things. We'll do a big meeting, with that, and talk about the progressed moon and the change of signs. This Saturday, that's also the day this video that I did is premiering, so yeah. So yeah, and then that Sunday, March 5, will be the premiere of the video at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We may look at Wrinkle in Time also. We'll probably be watching the Hobbit Lord of the Rings around next week time, starting next week I'll do that. Another theme is maybe planning a trip to Scandinavia. You heard that right. Trip to Scandinavia. Watching new Scandinavian cooking, trip to Scandinavia. And also walking out in the countryside. Because I was seeing these beautiful poles just as I was going down the highway yesterday. And I just thought, wow, that's so synchronistic, of this. On a cloudy day, the countryside. So I also want to do a countryside standing thing, which we're doing. It's about the trip to Scandinavia, and maybe the trip to Scandinavia will be a little bit later. Like, probably this fall or later this spring, maybe. We'll see. I actually think maybe it would be better, maybe, yeah. I'm thinking, because it's a little bit short notice now, I'm thinking maybe, maybe either this fall or next March. So either October this year or March next year. That there may be that trip to Scandinavia. With this transit. So that is just what I have in mind regarding that. I've spoken about themes. Obviously, none of you in this room, or a huge majority of you, don't have the placement, so you will not be put under the iron for the next 2.5 years. I say that because, I'm just really wondering how it will feel. And this is a little bit of a paradox. Paradoxically, I'm actually a little excited to find out, and I'll probably end up regretting this as the time progresses. I'll probably look back on things and going, well, I think I didn't realize how good I had it when Saturn was in Aquarius, and now I'm struggling with Saturn in Pisces with these kind of problems. And I may look at that differently and feel differently, maybe not. But I'm excited to see what kinds of problems emerge with this kind of placement. I'm anxious and maybe a little curious to see what I'm going to be working with, and I'm sure all of you are going to be working with during this time. Obviously, spirituality is going to just take an upsurge. I'm already doing so much with astrology and stuff now. Well, now I've spoken about it. I have expressed it, but now I'm going to act on the things I did not act upon in the future. Do all the spiritual practices and stuff. Really make that a practice. I will start meditating more. Pulling out the oracle cards. I'll do that when Saturn changes signs. I will